Now, moving back to the good parts, the prime parts, the breast, the leg, the thigh. Um, it really depends on what you want to do with it. If you want skinless breasts, then take the skin off, throw it in the schmaltz pot. If you like the skin on, which I do, then try to stretch out the skin that's remaining so that it stays intact before you cook it. You can season it, you can stick some herbs underneath it. Now, little bits of pieces of skin that are hanging off the edge, you want to trim these away because they tend not to crisp up very well, and then you've just got this flaccid skin fat thing hanging off the end of your chicken breast. So we're going to trim that up a little bit so that it's nice and clean. This extra stuff, I'm going to take that off. Alright, and then the finished product is a supreme de volaille, right? Chicken breast with just the wing joint. Now if you want to take the wing joint off and put it in with your wing bag so that you can have more wings later on and just eat the breast tonight, that's fine. Some people like the presentation value of having that wing on, so we'll take this over here and put it right on our plate with our prime cuts. Okay. The next is to take the leg and the thigh. Again, removing a little bit of extra skin from the edges, put it in the schmaltz pot. Take that off. And you've got a couple of options depending on how you like to eat your chicken legs and thighs. Usually it's preferred to separate the legs and the thigh. It makes it a little easier to eat, gives you a few more options. Just as you separated the joints on the other part of the bird, the wing joint and the thigh joint from the carcass, you're going to look for the point where the ball joint of the leg fits into the socket of the thigh. It's pretty clear where that is. You can see a delineation in the muscle, and so that'll give you a good idea where to start to look. And if you cut cleanly through, I got lucky that time, right in between the two parts of the joint and no resistance. If it had been a little resistant, I would have moved my knife over slightly, a little bit more pressure, would have slid right through. It should separate out just that easily. Okay, now we've got a thigh, we've got a drumstick, if you will, excuse me. And so we'll put the drumstick over here. And the thigh could be used just like this with the bone in it, although some people do like to remove the bone and then splay it out and make a cutlet or a boneless thigh. Now if you want to do that, get your fingers in there, and most of the work is done with your fingers. I don't know if you can see this, but I've used my fingers to kind of poke a hole underneath the bone. And then really all I've got left holding the bone on is the cartilage that attaches it at both ends. So I slide my knife into that hole I made with my thumb, angling my knife up towards the bone so that I don't injure the thigh, and then when I'm removing it from the other end, I angle my knife again in towards the bone and just sort of scrape down as I twist the bone. Taking that off, and when I get most of the flesh away from the bone, I just cut through the cartilage at the ball joint. Now there's a little bit of flesh left on here, but that's not a bad thing because it's going to go right in the stock pot and that'll make the stock more rich. Right, now what I've got left here is a boneless thigh, marinated and slowly grilled or sauteed skin side down so that the skin will get nice and crispy, crunchy. It's a wonderful thing to put in a sandwich, grilled chicken sandwich with some rosemary or some chilies or something like that. So I'll put that over there on the prime cut plate too. All right, I'm going to do this one more time just so that you can see how easy this is. I'm going to do it a little bit quicker this time. Placing the breast down on the board, I'm going to take off the excess skin that's showing around the edges. By the way, if you saw the duck demo, you saw me talking about using the duck tenderloin. This is the tenderloin of the chicken. If you're using it at home, you probably want to serve that right on the chicken breast. It's nice, it's tender, it's juicy. Or not, you could save them and put them on skewers and then have another meal from several skewers of chicken tenderloin. So that's up to you. Put that one separately because it came off. Feel around for any cartilage. There's a little piece of cartilage right there left over from the sternum. Take that off, put it in the stock pot. Shape it up nice, see how it looks to you. Flip it over. Make sure that you've got enough skin to cover so that it gets crispy, but not so much that it's going to be drooping over the sides and be flaccid. Look for extra pieces of skin or fat that are hanging off the edges. Trim those away and put them in the schmaltz pot. Take all of that. And then you've got a clean breast again. So we've got clean breast. One more time on the leg and the thigh. Place the thigh leg combination down. Trim away the excess that hangs over the edges. And then look for the signs, that delineation between the muscles. Got the fat that separates the thigh from the leg, and then you should find that joint, cut cleanly through it, and then you've got your drumstick, and you've got your thigh. This time I'll leave the bone in because I already talked about how to remove the bone from the thigh. Okay. And there you have it. So let's see what we've got here. We've got a bone-in thigh, a bone-out thigh, a couple of drumsticks, a breast, another breast. I don't really like the skin on that one so much. A couple of wings, a tenderloin. We could have two tenderloins if we'd taken it off the other one, and some delicious livers. Some fat for rendering out in the schmaltz pot, and some carcass. Cover the carcass with about an inch of water, put it on low heat, bring it to a simmer, let it simmer for about 3 or 4 hours. Throw in an onion, half a carrot, stalk of celery, any kind of herbs that you like. Thyme is probably best, maybe bay leaf. And you'll have, this holds 3 quarts. If I add a little bit of water as it reduces, I'll end up with about 2 quarts of good stock from one carcass. If I want to make a good sauce, I can reduce it down a little bit more. If I want to make a soup, it's fine just like it is. So there you go. I've got one, albeit commercial chicken that only cost me $5, and I'm going to get dinner for 4 2 times out of this easily. And that's it. How to break down a chicken. Thank you.